Hello everyone, welcome you all. Here I am going to take the details of International Space Station ISS. It is the particular place at the space where the astronauts can stay and carry out the different works. And in this session I am going to take the what is this International Space Station? What is its purpose? How it works? And how the different parts are associated with the International Space Station. The idea of the International Space Station was floated by the scientists in 1971. They thought that if you make a permanent place in the space for carrying out the different researches in the space, but during that time it is not possible by the technology available as well as the cost involved in that one, and there only they have left that. Later onwards, the individual countries like the United States and Russia and also Europe, they are individually thought that we can build an international space station permanently. There, the astronauts can stay, and there they can carry out the different types of the research work and other. And but it was becomes a difficult work construction of the International Space Station because of its affordability and because of the technology available individual countries. And later onwards, the United States states dropped that one, the construction of the International Space Station individual country. And later, it grouped the different countries who are interested to build an international space station, including the Russia, Europe, UK, Japan, Canada, all these countries, and they have come to with a conclusion of that building up of the international space station, and that was started in the year 1993 with 11 nations group. And later onwards, by the year 5 years later, the first model was sent in the year 1998. The purpose of International Space Station, what the all the countries are intended to do by constructing this International Space Station is to carry out a research at zero gravity or microgravity. Here, the International Space Station is situated above the atmosphere where the gravity terminates, and that is called as a zero gravity or microgravity. The some of the experiments which are conducted on the earth with a gravity, those are not giving the satisfactory results. In order to avoid that one, if the research is to be carried out at the International Space Station where the zero gravity is present, we are going to get the particular exact results, and those can be used for the different scientific works. The cost involved to build the International Space Station was about $150 billion. And this was the huge amount. And all the countries who are involved in the construction of the International Space Station, they contributed this the cost. The crews about 3 to 13 numbers can stay at a time. That space station is having the space to accommodate about 3 to 13 crew members at a time. And presently, astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore are stranded for 8 months at the International Space Station. Already, everyone aware about that one there because of the that Boeing Starline spacecraft, and that was there was a leakage of helium, and that cannot started the thrusters. And later onwards, the NASA thinking about the safety of the astronauts, they were not willing to carry them by that Starline spacecraft. The spacecraft empty reached to the Earth safely, but they were don't want to take any risk on the astronaut's life, and they are planned in the February of the 2025 to bring back the Sunita Williams and which will move to the Earth till March 2024. about 279 astronauts have visited the International Space Station from the different countries to carry out the different types of the research work. The size of this International Space Station is about the size of football field, including the end zones. This end zones. It has a pressurized module that 218 feet long. The pressurized module. It has a 218 feet long. It thrust here. The pressurized module. These are there inside and thrust. What is there? The thrust that's 310 feet. This is the thrust which is 310 feet long. And solar arrays that are 239 feet across. These solar arrays, what are there? These are the 239 feet. These are the dimensions of this International Space Station. And that is the size of the International Space Station, where can in detail we can see the what are the models and how those are connected also. Orbits. The International Space Station orbits the Earth at an average altitude of 227 nautical miles, about 400 kilometers from the Earth. From the Earth, where our atmosphere ends, and above that there is no gravity, and there the International Space Station is located. That is around the 227 nautical miles distance from the Earth, and about the 400 kilometer, traveling at about the 17,500 miles per hour. It will be traveling at about 17,500 miles per hour. It orbits from the west to east. It orbits from the west to east and taking 90 to 93 minutes per orbit. For the complete revolution of the Earth, it will take 90 to 93 minutes for one revolution. Okay, it is a number of revolutions it can carry out in one day also. And the astronauts staying on that one, the per day they can see the 16 that sunrise and sunsets. And this is about the how the orbit of the ISS is there over the Earth atmosphere. Power, the International Space Station, what the power is required for run the all the this machines, engines, and also the experiments. There, the power requirement is supplied by the solar arrays. The International Space Station solar arrays collect the energy from the sun to generate electricity, and that electricity only used, and this is used for the other purpose also. The arrays are connected to the station by truss, what we have seen earlier, which also includes radiators to control the station's temperature. That will take later. The models, these models means the ISS is made up of many modules. These are the separate parts. Those are called as the modules, which are connected by the connecting docks called nodes. Those all modules are connected through that docks to the nodes. And these models include laboratories from the United States, Russia, Japan, Canada, and Europe, where astronauts can stay and conduct scientific research. And that models only there is a space for the stay for the astronauts as well as the space for conducting the different scientific research. Those are laboratories also present in the models. Robotic arms. Robotic arms are mounted outside the station and used to build the station and helps move astronauts and during the spacewalks and perform laboratory experiments and maintenance also. Here we can see here the robotic arm which are constructed by the Canada, and these robotic arms what are there, those can be used for carrying out outside the what is the work is there outside the space station, what work is there, that will be done by these robotic arms. Okay, usually all the works are carried out by the robotic arms only. If it is not possible, then the later, the next step, that is a spacewalk by the astronauts can be carried out. And the spacewalk is a very dangerous the work which is to be carried out. That's why it will be the robotic arm is used. Okay, here we can see that is robotic arms what are there which will be supporting for the astronauts and that also doing the work for the construction as well as the any other the experimental work and maintenance work that will be carried out. Docking ports. The docking ports allow the station to connect with the external spacecraft and satellites, which deliver the supplies of the any requirements like food, water, oxygen, like that, and crew members also. Here we can see this is the International Space Station, and this is the spacecraft which will be arriving to the space station where it will be connected through these docking ports. And because of here, this International Space Station is maintain the environment, pressurized environment to for comfortable for the astronauts. If that any leakage during the connection may leads to the that is decrease or increase in the pressure, and that causes damage to the space station. That's why here the docking ports what are there which will connect properly, and those will not allow any leakage of the that gas, and also they will maintain the proper whatever the temperature and pressure and the oxygen what is required inside the space station. Environment. The ISS sustains a permanent environment in a space by providing fresh air, water, food, removing waste, and providing the fire protection. Here, inside the fresh air is there. The water also supplied by the that space station, and how it will be collected we'll discuss. The food usually supplied from the earth every 6 weeks. After the every 6 weeks the food will be supplied to the astronauts, and those the astronauts will consume that food, and they will be stay healthy for carrying out the different works. And the waste whatever is generating there, the waste generating what is there, that will be sucked, and that will be thrown outside the space station. There is air, the sucking air is used there. Then that air will be sucked, and that will be discharged, including that human died. And providing fire protection. That also provides the fire protection also. That all the environment it will have. Astronauts and cosmonauts bring oxygen from Earth, and they also make oxygen through electrolysis of the water using electricity. The oxygen there also they will prepare, and also the earth from the earth astronauts or cosmonauts bring the oxygen from the earth, and that will be supplied to the International Space Station. Temperature. The International Space Station's radiators keep it cool while the sun heats one side and the space freezes the other side during its travel, because it is traveling at a higher speed, and there one side it will be having the lower temperature and other side it is having the higher temperature, and because of that the radiators are used in order to keep it cool and maintains at a required temperature. The water requirement at the space station. Every human being require the water. And how the water will be available at the space station? That is the by the method the environmental control and life support system uses dehumidifiers dehumidifiers to collect the moisture from the air released by the astronauts' breath and sweat, and urine is collected from the crew. The collected water is purified and used by the crews. The water, whatever by the dehumidifiers and also from the urine of the astronauts is collected, and that water, whatever is there, that is purified, and required water will be supplied to the crews. Yeah, this is the inside of the International Space Station where the around 11 crews are staying inside the International Space Station, including Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmer are staying with the other different countries' astronauts at the space station. Here, this we can see the spacewalk already while taking that is robotic arm. Also, we have seen that is how the astronauts are coming outside to carry out the different types of the work. Okay, this spacewalk is a very dangerous work, and that should be the astronauts should be connected to the space station, and those should return to the inside the space station after carrying out all the different works. And the spacewalk, also known as the extravehicular activity EVA, is when an astronaut leaves a vehicle when space for the maintenance and other work. Usually, all the maintenance and outside work is carried out by the robotic arms, If that is not possible by the robotic arms, the space crews will leave from that space station and they will go outside and carry out all the things. And here, the Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore, during that thruster problems of the Starline spacecraft, they have did the spacewalk and completed, even though it was not satisfactory. Here, this is the different parts of the spacecraft International Space Station. We can see this is the spacecraft connect to a port. Here we can see this is the spacecraft and that is connected to a port. The spacecraft takes the astronaut to the ISS. Here, this is a spacecraft which is having the astronauts that is taken to the International Space Station, and this connecting port through that those will be the astronauts will enter to the module, and where the living space is there for the astronauts. Here we can see these are the modules where the astronauts live and work. These are the modules, okay, where the astronauts live and work. These are the radiators send extra heat to the space. These are the radiators. Those are the heat exchangers that will transfer the heat from the space station when the temperature increases to the outside atmosphere. And a robotic arm moves supplies. Here the robotic arms, what are there? That will carry out the construction, repair, maintenance, all other research works by outside the International Space Station. And panels to turn sunlight into electricity. These are the high efficient the solar panels are used here, which will be converts the this whatever the sunlight is there into a electricity, and that electricity used for the operation of this robotic arm, and also inside that whatever the light is required, and also carry out the different works to run the laboratories, to run the different machines inside the space station. We can use the electricity. This is about the International Space Station, how it is located at outside the atmosphere of the Earth, and what are the different works are carried out at the Earth, those International Space Station, and the actually the different types of the works, how they can carry out inside the International Space Station. That I'm going to take in the further sessions. Thanks for watching. If you like, share, subscribe, and comment.